And we continue with Kash Patel now, who joins us back. Hey, Kash, we didn't give your website in the last segment. I know you've got multiples, but what are we selling today? Your Kash Patel socks, or the children's book about the plot against the king?
Nah, just go to fightwithcash.com. I appreciate it, Larry. That's my passion project. Just go to fightwithcash.com.
Fight with Kash. And by the way, I'm wearing, I don't want to show you, but I am in fact wearing the Kash Patel socks. I proved it before the segment began. They're great socks, and the money goes to a very good cause. Kash, we were just talking about the Hunter Biden laptop cover-up story. And listen, the whole reason of covering up and silencing the story, it's more than just winning an election. It's also to protect Joe Biden, because he's exposed here. And we saw Jim Comer, who's the chairman of the Oversight Committee, yesterday on ABC News, claim that they have evidence now that Joe Biden was lying when he said he didn't have any conversations with his son about his business dealings. We've always known that was a lie. We've had evidence showing that it's not a lie. But why is this lie so important? It's not just political trouble that he's in. There's actually very legal, legal problems that he could have if he's lying about it.
Well, there would if there was a DOJ that wasn't running a two-tier system of justice. So I don't think Joe Biden will be legally charged, though he should. But look, I'm glad James Comer is on this track. And the only thing we need to show the American people, like we did in Russiagate, is the criminal's own documentation. And from Hunter Biden's laptop, you saw last week or the week before a very specific document come up with his dealings with the Ukraine, which contained a written report that could only have been derived from classified information. Me, as a former deputy director of national intelligence, looked at that report and I said, what was this email used for? And Hunter Biden's laptop showed that he created it, populated it, and sent it overseas to deliver a seven-figure contract for the advisory work that he and his family were involved with. That's it. That's the case. How many times can Joe Biden now say, I didn't know what was going on? We didn't get a pay-for-play. We didn't use classified information. It's in one document Hunter wrote.
Right. In other words, this is Hunter Biden basically copy and pasting, or maybe even transcribing from a classified briefing that his dad would have gotten as vice president, basically earning his keep. We always said, what did he do to make $80,000 a month from Burisma? Now we know that's the answer.
No, and just the 80,000, forget the monetary amount, right? Just say that we'll switch the chairs. What if Don Jr. took classified information from Donald Trump and used it to get $7 worth of contracts from the CCP? Game over. America would be like, a commander-in-chief just lied to us, stole classified information, gave it to his son, entered into a pay-for-play scheme, and then tried to lie to the world about it by covering it up. It is just ridiculous as a former federal prosecutor that we in the United States of America in 2023 have a two-tier system of justice based on politics.
Well, and you've woven us back into the classified document scandal that the president's dealing with. We heard him claim again that he's cooperated fully at every turn. But Kash, that's not actually true at all, is it? The fact is, when his own personal lawyers got to search all of his homes before he deigned to allow the FBI into his homes, and the FBI still found a lot of documents, that's not cooperating, that's covering your butt.
Well, two things there. First of all, cooperating as a former federal public defender, cooperating is completely meaningless in the law. If my murderers cooperated with the government, that doesn't mean they're not murderers. And let's get past the cooperation ruse that they're putting out there. Remember, Joe Biden's lawyers are the same lawyers that had a secret agreement that we now know with the FBI and DOJ in writing to say, before the election, shh, don't tell anyone, keep this on the hush hush. We're going to cooperate, but we don't want the world to find out that we are investigating the current commander-in-chief for stealing classified documents. To me, that is the most criminal thing that has been done by Joe Biden's team. He can go out there and say, I didn't know, I didn't do anything, but he hired those lawyers. Those lawyers work for him, and they wouldn't have reached out to the Justice Department and said, please keep this on the QT if there wasn't something there.
Well, and so, Kash, this obviously also exposes the political nature of how the Justice Department operates. In fact, I'm still waiting for that posed picture that the FBI will release showing all of Joe Biden's classified documents strewn across the floor like they did with Donald Trump. Why haven't we seen a picture like that plastered all over the newspapers?
Well, because and I laugh, but it's tragic because this FBI and operated by government gangster #1 Chris Wray doesn't care about law enforcement. He cares about his job, the headlines, and maintaining his position of power. And Merrick Garland might be even worse than Chris Wray. there are no photo ops, there are no leaks. But the fact that there are multiple locations over a 10+ year period nukes the Joe Biden defense that he didn't know, there was no there, and I don't know where those documents were found and how they got there.
Yeah.
You were a senator, you were the vice president, you had no right to take them in either instance. You moved them out. You can't blame staff because they're not responsible for the documentation. You are. So you are in criminal liability. Of course, he'll never get prosecuted, but I do believe they'll use it to kneecap him politically because even the Democrats don't want him to run.
Yeah, that is actually the hidden little secret in this town, is that the Democrats are looking for any reason to take him out of the running for 2024. Kash, speaking of things that the Biden administration doesn't want people to know about and they tried to keep secret, that Chinese spy balloon, boy, the only reason we knew about it was because people in Montana looked up in the sky and saw it. How deep does this story go? Biden and the team over there at the Pentagon claim that, there wasn't anything nefarious here. We have assurances from the Chinese government. Wait, we're getting assurances from the CCP?
Yeah, the same CCP, by the way, that refuses to take a phone call from our current Secretary of Defense. Yeah. That's how good of a footing we are off with on our adversaries. But now we're not talking about one balloon, 2, 3, 4, 5 aerial objects, as now the Defense Department wants to call it, and they're calling it retroactively as a gap in collection. That is government cheese for we messed up royally.
Yeah.
And because we politicized the national security apparatus of this country, and now we are backtracking to save Commander-in-Chief Joe Biden's credibility on the global stage. From a national security perspective, this is the most damning intrusion that we have had over our shores and over our territorial waters and landscape in modern American history. Just imagine if Donald Trump allowed aerial objects from Russia and China to parade over our land. They would go apoplectic. And right now they're looking at the DOJ to say, we didn't sort of mess up, but we kind of did. But, it happened during Trump, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, but that happened during Trump thing. Boy, that disappeared quickly because even this biased media in the Washington, D.C. area, they saw right through that lie. They tried it, but it didn't work. This is a Biden scandal, but it's a scandal that involves our national security. What do you make of all of the objects they're shooting down now? Now they're acting like it's a shooting gallery up there.
Yeah, and look, that's the focus I try to maintain with this. I'm cheering for Joe Biden on a national security stage because that's the protection of our country. When you have multiple targets being shot down, when you have the Russian government and our government basically saying, remove your citizens from Russia. When you have CCP and Xi Jinping launching missives over the South China Sea and Northern America, then you have a massive collective problem against the security of our state. And while they're putting on this entire show, let's call it that. Mm-hmm. Who knows what else Russia and China are doing in terms of intruding upon cyber warfare campaigns and meddling in future elections and buying up land across America. All of these serve as a perfect distraction for their multi-pronged effort to jeopardize American national security, and that's my biggest concern.
But Kash, real fast, 30 seconds, can we just do away with this play acting that China is not our enemy? I mean, what more do they need to do? We keep using words like, global adversary. They're an enemy.
Listen, China has stolen our money, stolen our intelligence, weakened our nation, and is about to go up on another precipice of war with Taiwan. If they're not our enemy, I don't know who is. And also anyone who doesn't think so shouldn't be in the National Security Administration of this country.
And I'll add to that, as Senator Joni Ernst said over the weekend, they're deliberately sending fentanyl to poison our children. I mean, what more do they need to do? Kash Patel, great stuff as always, my friend. Fightwithkash.com. More to come on O'Connor Tonight.